If you've ever struggled with finding the time to grow your Etsy print-on-demand shop, or if you're just not sure how to maximize the time that you do have, welcome to part 6 of a new series where I walk you through the time blocking strategies I use to efficiently build my 6-figure Etsy print-on-demand shop in just pockets of time. In the previous videos, we walked through all of the various steps that I take to get all the way from research to design to mock-ups to actual listings. Now, with all of the listings done, you may be thinking that it's the end of my time blocking series, but it's not, because here's the thing. Time blocking is a productivity method. It's not just for batching listings. One of the other major time blocks that I have related to my shop is what I call my housekeeping time block. Things like customer service, processing orders, checking in on tracking progress. I make sure that I set aside time every day to focus and complete these very important activities. If you haven't seen the first few videos in the series, definitely go back and check them out because I take you behind the scenes on some very specific and intentional steps that I take to make the processes that I use in my shop efficient and that allowed me to scale my shop to 6 figures and more than 700 listings in less than a year. So what makes this different from other strategies you may hear about growing a brand new print-on-demand business from scratch? Well, if you're new to my channel, I happen to run a whole other handmade business full-time, which means that when I set out to grow a brand new Etsy print-on-demand shop in time for Q4 back in 2022, I needed to be super strategic with a small amount of time that I had to actually work on it. In case we haven't met yet, my name is Mandy, and as the owner of multiple 6-figure businesses, including Etsy print-on-demand shops, my goal is to provide you with strategies to simplify the journey and scale your business faster so that you can thrive with print-on-demand. If you're just joining in, the purpose of this series is to cover how I spend my time in what I call time blocks and the very intentional activities that I accomplish in these small pockets of time in order to move my shop forward not only quickly, but effectively. Now, these have been long and intense videos as I bring you on an over-the-shoulder view of what I do in these different time blocks. And that was very intentional. I firmly believe that so many of the fast and quick approaches to starting a print-on-demand business don't work unless you understand the nuances that go into leveraging research, demand, and efficiencies when creating designs and products in order to make them successful. If you skip over the important stuff because you think it's too boring or that it takes too long, then you're actually wasting the time that you do spend on it because it's going to be an uphill battle. As the saying goes, don't complain about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. That is why this series has been all about taking a deep dive into my actual full processes with no stone left unturned. Now, the beauty of time blocking and breaking down tasks into different sections is that it ensures you can focus on one particular part of the process much more efficiently because you're repeating the same process. So whether you have small blocks of time or bigger blocks of time available in your day, you can still move your shop forward. Now, typically at the end of each day, I focus on the task of managing my shop. So during this time, I'm not listing and I'm generally not designing unless I'm adding personalization to a design as part of an order. So that means every single day I'm processing orders, I'm monitoring ship dates in Etsy, and I'm handling customer service. When I'm processing orders, I have them set to manual in Printify. I ship to both US and Canada in my shop, and so when a Canadian order comes in, I'm actually changing the print provider so that it arrives to the customer a lot faster. Everything else, I simply hit submit and send it to production. That's literally the beauty of print on demand. You design it once, you add it to your shop, and then Printify handles the rest. Then in Etsy, I review the ship by dates for all of my upcoming orders that are going to be due to ship soon. Every once in a while, there's a hiccup in the connection that happens between Etsy and your print provider. This can and does happen with any type of third-party integration, not just Printify or other print providers. The most common occurrence is for the tracking number to not get synced with Etsy like it normally does automatically from the print provider. In most cases, your orders are going to be shipping out within a few days. So generally, I'll keep an eye on orders approaching their ship date, and if they get to within a day or two, I'll check on the order in Printify. If there is a delay for any reason, you can extend the ship by date in Etsy. You can only do this once per order, so if you have to do it, make sure that you're extending by at least a few business days just to be on the safe side. When you do that, it will prompt you to include a message to the customer, and I will typically include a note that apologizes for any potential delay, explains that there was an unexpected delay in the production with my printing partner, and that extending the ship date is simply a precaution to make sure that they have the most accurate and up-to-date information on their order. And yes, it's true. I don't try to mask the fact that I work with a printing partner for my designs when I'm interacting with a customer. I talk about it in my listing and I talk about it in my ordering process. In my experience, if something does go wrong, customers are far more reasonable in their expectations when they understand that you are working with an external partner and that there are going to be some things out of your control. And finally, customer service. During my time block each day for this activity, I am responding to any customer messages that I have received. The sooner I can get back to people, the better. If they want to see a design in a t-shirt instead of a sweatshirt, I'll add it as a new listing and send it to them so that if they like it, they can immediately purchase it. And I don't have to spend a lot of time going back and forth with them. I always respond to messages with a tone of positivity and professionalism, which means I'm responding in a cadence that's more like an email than a text message. No slang, no BRB. You are running a business and these are your customers or potential customers. I also find that if you are oozing with kindness, most normal humans will reciprocate with a kind tone. Not always true, but most of the time. So after thousands of sales, I have maintained a rating of 4.9 out of 5 in my shop. Aside from the products and designs themselves, some of the most common statements in my reviews are around customer service and shipping time, which might seem surprising given that this is print on demand and we have so little control over things, right? Well, yes, to a point. Now remember, I only have small amounts of time to spend on my shop, both now and when I was building it, which means I wasn't sending requests for reviews. I did not send extra messages about shipping or delivery or thanking them for their order. I relied on Etsy's automated messages to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing these extra little steps, but the reality is that there was simply zero time for that in my schedule on top of what I was already doing. And having been on Etsy since 2017 with my original handmade business, I also know that the return on those extra activities is quite often really low, especially nowadays, even more so, regardless of how much is recommended. My priority was and has been on revenue generating activities in the form of constantly improving my designs, constantly researching and understand customer demand, and making more listings for these specific customers. I communicate the process and expectations to my customers in the automated message to buyers in Etsy, along with my additional listing information as well. And I also include this information in my FAQs and my policies where applicable. I have the message to buyers turned on and activated. I have my automated coupons activated, and Etsy will send a ton of reminders to your customers to leave reviews. So what did I do to get such stellar customer service reviews along the way? Under promise, over deliver. I'll say that again. Under promise, over deliver. I have my shipping time set to the full extent of what the printing partner indicates it will be. During the busy holidays, I add an extra couple of business days. Last year, out of hundreds and hundreds of orders, I had 0 that arrived late or after their targeted delivery window because I kept my shipping and processing times accurate and up to date. Most of the time, the item actually arrives well before that date. The result? Really happy customers who get their order faster than they expected. Shipping and production windows matter. Now you do have to be careful and don't set it too long because Etsy won't open up the review window until that delivery window closes. But still, not having the anxiety of late orders or constantly having to move those ship dates around, totally worth it. The other factor in customer service is setting expectations. As I said earlier, I am upfront about working with a printing partner for my designs. I explain the production and shipping process in my listings, and I explain direct-to-garment printing and that it results in prints looking a little different compared to what they might be used to with the standard vinyl or screen printing that they might find in other shops on Etsy. I'll link my video that goes into setting those customer expectations in a little more detail. Now, do I get the occasional nightmare customer? You bet. I had one particular one over the holidays last year that went so far as to pull out every business threat that they could think of to try and scare me into a refund that they didn't deserve. And quite frankly, they offended me so much that I wasn't willing to let myself get bullied into it. That's a horror story for another time. But the point is, have I gotten the dreaded 1-star review? Yep. Am I gutted when it happens? Of course. I'm human, and I'm also a people pleaser by nature, and I don't like disappointing people. But I guarantee it will happen at some point, and most of the time, you won't be able to fix it or make it go away. Give yourself a moment to have a pity party. If there's opportunities for a future improvement, make them, but otherwise, keep moving forward and don't let it slow you down. And finally, I take care of the customer first if there is an issue. So for example, if there's a printing issue or if for some reason it comes out crooked when they receive it or it was damaged in the mail along the way, it happens. So typically my process is I'll apologize for any potential issues. I'll proactively ask for photos of what they received so that I can see either the damage or the error. And I let them know that I'm asking for this so that I can come up with a resolution as quickly as possible for what they're experiencing. Once I get the photo and confirm that there was some sort of obvious error or damage in what they received, I will immediately duplicate the order in Printify and process a new order right away. I'll let them know that I've taken care of this and that I will send them an updated tracking number once I have it. Once I've immediately taken care of that customer, then I will go and ask for a refund on that original order in Printify. You do have the option in Printify of submitting a reprint request, but typically in my experience, that can add an extra day or two to the response that you might get and the turnaround of that replacement. I want to take care of my customer first as a business owner, and so the fastest way to do that is I take the hit on duplicating that order and running another one, and then I'll get a refund for myself for that original order. By taking care of and prioritizing your customer's experience first, this is the fastest way to turn around a potentially negative experience. And I've often still received 5-star reviews in scenarios just like this, where the first one wasn't perfect and didn't meet their expectations. I immediately responded and fixed the problem, got them a quick solution. They got their new product and it was just what they wanted. And then they're satisfied because I was able to navigate with them successfully. If you want to take a deeper dive into some of my other customer service approaches, I have that as part of my free masterclass series right here on my channel, so I've linked that module for you. Now, once I've processed orders from the day, checked on tracking statuses, and responded to any customer service needs, that is really all I'm taking care of on an average day. Even on my busiest days, it generally takes me no more than 20 to 30 minutes to take care of the necessities. One of the things I love most about print on demand is that once you've done that work up front to build your shop and get that initial momentum so that daily sales are coming in, it becomes relatively passive like everyone says it does. In Q4 last year, on one of my busiest days, I had 91 orders in one day as a relatively new shop, and processing those were really no different. I was also super busy with my regular handmade business in Q4 as well, but even though I was spending hardly any time at all in my print on demand shop, those orders were still coming in and getting passively fulfilled. Passive profits are 100% possible, but make no mistake, you do have to put in the work to get there. As you've seen from this series, building your shop is definitely not the passive part, but it is possible even if you only have a small amount of time to spend on it. Right now, my time blocks are largely around housekeeping, but last year when I was scaling my shop fast, I maximized the amount of research, design, and listing time blocks that I could fit into each day. I treated them as habits and I repeated them until my shop was achieving the growth and goals that I wanted to see. Now, as promised, I will also have one final video to wrap up this particular series, and I will be talking about how I put all of these concepts together in a day, in a week, both when I was building my shop and now that I'm really just maintaining it. I'll also share how I monitor data within my shop so that I can make data-driven decisions on an ongoing basis, as well as how I set my goals and made sure that I was achieving those goals with my time blocks as I was growing my business. So make sure that you are subscribed and stick around for the remainder of this time blocking series. You won't want to miss it. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you want to learn more about my strategies for thriving in your print on demand business, make sure you've got the notifications turned on for my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my upcoming content. And in the meantime, be sure to check out the dedicated playlist with my full print on demand masterclass course right here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad you're here, and I'll see you in the next time block. And if you're looking for more ways to continue the journey and stay connected, I'm excited to invite you to my brand new membership, the Simply Thrive Club. Unlike other programs, this is not a course. In fact, it's not even a program in the traditional sense. And that's because all of the steps that you need to build your print-on-demand business can be obtained for free on my channel. My in-depth course is not behind a paywall. So instead, this new membership is all about community with ongoing challenges to drive growth and a support system for accountability to keep going. It's goal setting to maximize your pockets of time and stay organized so that you can thrive even amidst a busy schedule. And it's action taking with expert resources and tools available in order to master skills necessary for scaling faster and more efficiently. This totally new platform is a community that is off of social media, including a community app, over 60 plus professional mockups with more on the way. There are monthly accountability challenges because, did I mention I'm all about consistency? I've included the ability to request quarterly comprehensive shop audits, and there are live group calls each month where we can talk about all things print on demand, time blocking, setting realistic goals, finding process efficiencies, and so much more. Be sure to check it out, and in the meantime, keep going, keep learning, and keep growing in your print on demand journey.